So, that title, huh? Alright, so first, let me explain. It's exactly what you think. I swear. At some point, this is just going to devolve from softcore to just straight up porn reviews. That's the direction that we're heading, guys. Okay, so another new manga that I picked up. You know that I like my rom-coms. This one titled My Pink is Overflowing. Like I said, that title. But honestly, it's partially the title that got me because I had a double take when I saw it. I was like, wait, what? Your what's overflowing? So what exactly is this manga series about? Well, we get introduced to our main character, the female of the romance, and they decide to take this in a interesting approach. She is kind of the all or nothing girlfriend, and that causes her to get in bed with a guy she might barely even know if he says that he loves her. Because she'll be completely convinced, oh yes, this guy loves me, he's gonna stay with me, this is not, it was just a one-time fulfilling. And of course, it never turns out that way. She always attracts the wrong type of guys because she's just so willing to believe that the relationship will be more than just sex. And then this gets contrasted with the male character of the romance, and his whole thing is that he doesn't have that many relationships with women because he only wants to be with a woman that he will marry. So because of this, he's a virgin. So you see, it's kind of interesting how they did two sides of the same coin. They're both very much committed to having a relationship with somebody, but one of them will fall for anyone, while as one of them won't fall for anyone. One is too open, one is too closed. But they both have the same goal of having a committed relationship. And thus, of course, the romance begins. But the way they go about the romance and actually putting these two characters together is kind of weird. For starters, she blurts out the line, "Will you give me your virginity?" Which, if she was a male character, I'm pretty sure she would get smacked across the universe. But it is a little bit weird. At either gender, it's weird to just blurt out, "Please give me your virginity." But the idea is, the two characters both open up to each other, and she kind of explains why she is not in a relationship even though she wants to be, and he explains why he's not in a relationship even though he wants to be. And she likes him, she's attracted to him, so she's like, let's work out this deal. You can be with me, and you know, I'm very committed even though I'm not a virgin. Just please, you know, give me a chance to date you. And he's like, okay, we'll date and we'll see where it goes, but if I don't fall in love with you, then we're not going anywhere with this. We'll be done. No D for you. And he straight up says, while he's like making this deal with her, he's like, I don't really love you though. I'll date you, but I don't really love you. We'll just see where this goes. Like I said, it's just a really weird way to put these two characters together to just be like boom bam in a relationship, but he doesn't really love her. And that's another issue with this first manga. I mean, it does have its issues, but the most primary issue, I think, is just that we don't really see it through the guy's perspective as much as the girl's perspective. We don't really see him change disliking her to liking her to being in love with her. And that's something that picks up a little bit in the second volume, but you should have some scenes that help with the guy's perspective in the first, especially if he agrees to date her and he's doing all these boyfriend things for her. But I don't really feel like I understand why, because he straight up says that he doesn't really like her in that way. Another thing is, this is the very rare male tsundere, I think. You see, it's hard to tell because this is not a very well done tsundere. Throughout the first volume, it doesn't really seem like he's the type of guy who goes, it's not like I love you or anything, and that's why he treats her badly. It just kind of seems like he genuinely doesn't really like people. It's like he's not a people person. And it seems to be very heavily contrasted from I hate everyone to I like you, I'm gonna do boyfriend things for you. Like I said, if we had seen more of the guy's perspective, if we had seen more of his thoughts on the matter, maybe the transition would have been a lot more smooth, maybe it would have been a lot more believable. For an intro into a series, this is not a very good male tsundere that they're building up. And as they're agreeing to date each other, she's hugging him, and that's when she says, "Just one hug from him is enough to fill my head with pink," which of course is it's referencing the title of the book. I guess she from hugging him? The world is full of strange occurrences that we do not quite understand. And of course, the big buildup of this relationship is when they will finally have sex and be in a fully committed relationship. It's kind of like Peach Mermaid in that way, where like all of the buildup is just so these two characters will fuck. Only this lasts longer than Peach Mermaid. I think that the two characters are interesting. I think that this type of romance that they have going on here is interesting. But I do feel like they jumped a little bit too quickly to just put them in a relationship. They should have had more of a build-up phase to that. Like I said, they should have had some scenes with the guy's perspective and him starting to like her in that manner. Because people like watching the romance build up from nothing. That's part of the reason why there's so many like high school anime where like the romance is just building, but they never get together. Because people like watching it build from like a normal friendship to something more. But you kind of miss out on a big portion of the journey if you just push them together and it's like, okay, they're a thing now. And keep in mind, this like happens within the first 40 or so pages in the first volume. So it's a little bit quick and we don't really know that much about this guy. So volume 1 was a little bit janky. I think volume 2 started fleshing it out a little bit better, but it definitely has a rocky start. And of course, when they finally do have sex, you know what she's going to be calling out. Anyway, that is my little review of My Pink is Overflowing. What do you think? Tell me down below in the comments section. That's what it's there for. Remember to like the video and subscribe, because there will be more videos. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye! Program restart.